The Mind of Tyrants. The purpose of life is to feel bad, and at the same time, the purpose of life is to have no feelings at all. If you're unhappy, then you should feel bad about that. If you're unhappy, then you've done something wrong. More than that, you are something wrong at your core. You must stop having feelings. You must do as you're told. If you have no feelings, then you are good. But no, you're not good, not even then. If you don't have feelings, then that simply means you're avoiding your own true guilt. You are an awful person. You should feel unhappy. That is the punishment for your awfulness. You must feel unhappy. You must not feel. You must feel unhappy. You must not feel. You must achieve greatness. Then you will be loved and accepted. But no, we must never love you or accept you, for then you would be a failure. We must hate you, for that will motivate you to succeed. We must always hate you, for you are never successful enough. There is no such thing as enough. If you respond to our hatred with failure, then we will hate you all the more, because we cannot tolerate failure. We will hate you for your failure per se, and we will also hate you in order to motivate you to be more successful. If a certain degree of hatred does not produce the degree of success which we desire, then we will increase the hatred until such desires are fulfilled. This technique is akin to a man who tries to douse a house fire with gasoline, and when the fire subsequently grows larger, he responds by adding more gasoline. As he does this, he proclaims that the only guilty party here is the house itself, which is far too flammable. He speaks at length about his endless, selfless efforts to douse the fire, and he angrily denounces the house for not cooperating. He declares that only a wicked, evil house could ever be so flammable, and he concludes that the house therefore deserves its fate. Following from this last point, he may justify his continued application of gasoline by stating that he intends to feed the flames, and he has every right to feed the flames, and at the same moment, without any acknowledgement of contradiction, he declares that the fire must be stopped, and that gasoline is the way to stop it. But of course our desires are never fulfilled. Indeed, they must not be fulfilled, for if they were fulfilled, then we might feel obliged to stop hating you, and we have already established that you're an awful person who deserves all the hatred we can muster. You are awful because you are a failure, and you fail because you're awful. Your awfulness is inherent. It cannot be changed. At the same time, it can be changed and must be changed, and your failure to stop being awful just goes to show how much of a failure you are. You should be ashamed of yourself. The opportunity for success must always exist, because otherwise it would be difficult to fail. And failure, as we have established, is vital. You must fail. If you ever stopped failing, then it could theoretically lead to the conclusion that you are not awful, which is an awful thing to think, because you are awful, and only a truly awful person could ever fail to see how awful he is. Likewise, only an idiot could ever disagree with the statement, "I am an idiot." Everyone who thinks of himself as an idiot is correct, and everyone who thinks of himself as intelligent is really just an arrogant idiot. Except us, of course. We are truly intelligent and good. You are stupid and awful, and if you disagree with us in any way, that just shows how stupid and awful you are. And if you somehow stopped failing, which of course is impossible, it could conceivably suggest the idea that we were wrong when we doused you with gasoline and set you on fire, and that is the least tolerable thought in the universe. So you see then that failure is vital, and you must fail at every opportunity, and there must be opportunity, or else you would have nothing to fail at. And you must try to succeed, for if you failed on purpose, then you would not be failing quite so thoroughly as we would like, because then you would have at least succeeded in your attempt to fail. No, that won't do. You must try to succeed so that you may maximize your failure. Opportunities for success must always exist, but only in a theoretical sense. You must never actually succeed. No, you must fail. You must fail because you are a failure. We can therefore conclude that any so-called success on your part is just failure in disguise. Did you get a 90 on that test? Why not 100? Did you get 100? Well, why not 150? Do you earn $50,000 a year? Well, why isn't it 60,000? Or a million? Or a billion? There are many, many integers which you have not achieved yet, and frankly, we can't understand how anyone could feel proud of his salary when it's anything less than infinity dollars per year. Except us, of course. We may feel proud of our own salaries if we like. You mustn't. The rules are universal, and at the same time they are not universal, and they only apply to you. And even if you did earn infinity dollars per year, then of course that would just cause hyperinflation and crash the whole damn economy. And if your money was printed on paper bills, then the entire universe would be filled with paper, and there would be infinite gravity, and the universe would collapse into a giant black hole. Dear God, what is wrong with you? Didn't we tell you that you were awful? And it's all your fault, too. You should have earned more money, like a good person. Oh, what's this? You just won the Nobel Peace Prize? Well, for heaven's sake, why didn't you win 2 Peace Prizes? Don't expect us to be impressed with a prize count that's so low it doesn't even qualify as a prime number. What do you think we are, animals? Win 10 Nobel Peace Prizes and then we'll be proud of you. Well, no, we won't be proud. We will always hate you. We need to hate you for your own good. But in the meantime, you must believe that you can someday earn our love. And while you're at it, abandon all hope of receiving love from some other source. If you ever received unconditional love, then you would stop striving for success and thus you would fail. Of course you're going to fail anyway, but damn it, we need you to feel that failure. And at the same time, you mustn't feel a damn thing. Only weaklings have feelings, and you mustn't be weak. And at the same time, you must be weak, because who would we use as an emotional punching bag if you were strong enough to walk away? No, you must endure all the abuse we give you. You must receive it gladly. Except no, don't be glad. Wipe that damn smile off your face. You're awful, remember? You deserve this. For heaven's sake, be unhappy. But at the same time, don't be unhappy. You might arouse our conscience, and that's the last thing we want. So you must be blank. Have no feelings at all. But for heaven's sake, don't do that. If you have no feelings, then we can't see you suffer, and we need you to suffer. You're awful, remember? You're awful. And if we ever sense, even for a fleeting moment, that maybe we have something to feel guilty about, then that's all the more reason to punish you. You're the one who's awful. You are. And you must suffer. Perhaps we will allow you to experience joy from time to time. Indeed, perhaps we will make a big show of it and tell all the neighbors, and you will thank us endlessly for our kindness. But joy must only ever be a tool, to be used for the purpose of pain and punishment. We will manipulate you. We will raise your hopes only to crush them. We will starve you of happiness until you are desperate for whatever morsels we may offer. And then you will do what we say in order to receive such morsels, and we will give them to you, not because we love you, but because we want to keep you in chains. If we starved you outright, you might not respond to our commands. Or even worse, you might escape the prison and go looking elsewhere for food, and we can't have that, can we? You must remain in chains. Even if your body goes elsewhere, your mind must be enslaved. There must be a little warden in your brain at all times, whispering our words and enforcing our rules. Don't you see? This is all for your own good. We hate you because we love you, and we love you because we hate you. Hate and love are, in fact, really the same thing. There is no good and evil. There is only power, and those with the will to pursue it. But not you, of course. You don't get any power. Only we can have power. That's the law. And yes, there is such a thing as good and evil. We are good and you are evil. And you should be ashamed of yourself for being so flammable. If you're not ashamed, we'll teach you a lesson with this gasoline. And that's what we're here for, isn't it? We're here to teach lessons. We're here to educate. We're here to guide you and mold you into the best person you can possibly be. Which is shit, actually. The best you can be is shit, and a slave. So a shitty slave, then, and frankly, that's more than you deserve. You should be grateful. You should be thanking us. We did all this shit for your own good. We are endlessly slaving away to make your life better, and what do we get? Lousy service, that's what. How dare you question our motives? What do you think you are, some kind of tyrant? You're evil. Tyranny is evil. Now get back in your slave outfit and start singing some songs about how much you enjoy slavery. The real tyrants are the uppity slaves, and as far as we're concerned, you're all uppity. Fuck you. But seriously, this is all for your own good. We say these things because we love you. Can you imagine how burdensome it would be to walk around without burdens every day? It boggles the mind. Why, if we weren't working so hard to enable your success in every conceivable way, you'd be failing even more than you already are, hard as that is to imagine. Don't you see? You need us. So remember to thank us and praise us every chance you get. We'll help you as much as we can, but you've got to do your part. You've got to make the effort. If you suspect that there is something cruel or stupid about our commands, that's only because you're the one who's cruel and stupid. Haven't we established this? Didn't we make it perfectly clear that you're awful? Awful. Sickening, appalling, disgusting. It's time to reprogram your brain. It's time to make you stop thinking thoughts that we don't want you to think. But there's no need for drugs or surgery? Of course not. All we need is shame and power. We must administer shame, and you must accept it. We must exercise power, and you must obey it. And then, in the final victory, you will crush all thoughts of rebellion. And if you feel any anger, you will direct it at yourself, or at your fellow slaves, or at innocent bystanders, but certainly not at us. Mostly, you must hate yourself. And you must believe that if you meet our conditions, you will finally receive unconditional love. Except, of course, you don't deserve it, because you're a wicked, terrible person and everybody hates you. We'll let you in on a little secret now. We were once victims, too. We were bashed and beaten just like you. And we learned to kill ourselves from the inside, to deactivate our sense of right and wrong, and to accept whatever nonsense that supported the doctrine of power. So you see, then, even though it is you who wear the chains and we who hold the whip, in the end we're not so different. We sacrifice our souls in the service of the Master, just like you.